Take off the black leather hood. Put down the oversized axe from the movies. Almost everything modern entertainment taught you about the medieval executioner is wrong. If you were forced into this job in a European town during the late Middle Ages, you would not be a dark legend walking above the law. You would be a living contradiction, needed by the city, despised by the city, and trapped inside a profession no one respectable would touch. The judges would speak about justice from warm chambers lined with polished wood and candlelight, but when punishment had to become real, they would send for you. That is the truth of your life. You do the work everyone else wants hidden. And as the bells begin to ring through a freezing 15th century morning, you are about to step into one more day inside the most feared and isolated role in town. You do not live in the center of the city. You are not allowed to. The authorities have placed your house on the edge of town, far from the market squares, far from the respectable guild streets, far from the stone homes of merchants and officials. Your small house stands near places no one wants nearby. Waste pits, animal yards, rough storage sheds, the fringes of sickness and poverty. When you wake, the air is cold and damp, and the first thing you notice is not silence, but smell. Wet earth, smoke, refuse, rot. This is the atmosphere wrapped around your life before the sun is even fully up. Your home is plain, drafty, and practical. The floor is hard-packed dirt. The boards creak. The walls hold the chill. You pull on rough wool clothing. Nothing dramatic, nothing theatrical, just the simple garments of a laborer. But there is one thing that marks you out immediately. By local custom or legal requirement, you wear a distinct color or visible patch that announces who you are before you say a word. It is not meant to honor you. It is meant to warn others. It tells the town that the man approaching is useful, but untouchable. Your body feels older than it should. The work that surrounds your office is not glamorous, and it is not rare. Executions may happen only a few times a year, but the rest of your labor is constant. Heavy lifting, dirty handling, endless hauling, long walks through mud, repairs, ropes, wood, carts, tools, cleanup, carrying, waiting. Your shoulders are stiff before dawn. Your back complains when you stand. Your hands are hardened by years of labor no honest guild would ever publicly claim, even while the entire city quietly depends on it. And the worst part is this: you probably did not choose any of it. In many places, the profession follows family lines. If your father held this role, the town expects you to inherit it. Other doors close before you ever reach them. Respectable apprenticeships vanish. Marriage options narrow. Your family name becomes its own sentence. Children from other homes are warned away from yours. Your world becomes a closed circle built from necessity, stigma, and routine. You do not simply work as the executioner. You belong to the executioner's household, and the town never lets you forget it. You step outside into the gray morning and make your way toward the city. The road is slick. The mud grips at your boots. Smoke rises from chimneys across the roofs ahead. From a distance, the city feels alive and almost welcoming. But that illusion disappears the moment you pass through the gate. The market is already moving. Vendors calling out, carts rolling, animals shifting, church bells carrying over the rooftops. Yet as people notice you, something changes. The space around you widens. Voices soften. Eyes slide away. Children are pulled back by the sleeve. Men pretend not to stare. Women turn their bodies so their baskets do not brush your coat. This is the everyday punishment attached to your position. You are not just feared because of what you do. You are treated as if your very proximity carries contamination. Social, spiritual, moral. In a deeply religious society, people tell themselves that justice is holy, but the person who must perform its ugliest duties becomes unclean by association. You are the city's contradiction made human. At the bakery, humiliation follows rules of its own. The baker serves you because he must, not because he wants to. He keeps the exchange short. He does not invite conversation. In some towns, traditions grow up around your presence. Special handling, separate cups, gestures of avoidance, small rituals designed to remind both you and everyone watching that you stand outside ordinary life. You pay, take your bread, and move away without lingering. No one asks how your morning is going. No one wants your opinion. You are tolerated, not welcomed. And still, the city needs you for far more than sentencing days. That is one of the most revealing truths about your life. Your office touches every task respectable people refuse to perform. Disposal, control, enforcement, dirty municipal labor, stray animals, foul spaces, public order, unpleasant removals, maintenance around the edges of civilized life. Again and again, the town turns to the same household. You become the handler of everything society wants done without wanting to witness it. The more pure the public likes to imagine itself, the more it depends on someone like you to carry what it refuses to carry. By mid-morning, you are summoned to the town hall. The contrast never gets easier to look at. Upstairs, in chambers warmed by fire and furnished with heavy tables, sit men who speak the language of law, morality, and order. Their robes are clean, their fingers are soft, their words are measured. They debate guilt, repentance, property, testimony, and authority. They can condemn in elegant phrases. They can invoke God, crown, and civic duty. But they do not build the scaffold. They do not prepare the square. They do not face the crowd. They do not stand within arm's reach of fear. A clerk hands you the day's orders. There is a prisoner who has been sentenced. Preparations must begin. The event will not be private. It will be public, deliberate, and symbolic. Medieval punishment is not only about the condemned individual. It is theater, warning, ritual, and proof that the authorities remain in control. The city wants a visible outcome, and your job is to make that outcome orderly. So you begin with the practical work. The platform must be checked. The wood must be secure. The approach must be cleared. Guards must know where to stand. The path through the square must stay open. Tools must be inspected and arranged. There is no room for improvisation, because a public punishment that looks confused, delayed, or clumsy threatens the dignity of the court itself. A clean procedure reassures the authorities. Disorder embarrasses them. And if embarrassment turns into anger from the crowd, you are the one standing closest to it. This is what most people misunderstand. They imagine your role as simple cruelty, but much of your reality is logistics under pressure. You must know how to move through a crowd, how to read tension, how to work with guards, clerks, priests, and officials who look down on you but still expect flawless results, how to keep your hands steady while the whole square watches, how to perform in a moment everyone else would rather judge from a distance. Even before the condemned arrives, your isolation is complete. The priest speaks to the prisoner. The guards follow the magistrate's orders. The clerk records the formalities. The crowd whispers and speculates. Everyone has a role, but none of them share yours. You are close enough to the event to carry its burden, yet too stained by it to belong to any group present. You stand alone, even while surrounded by hundreds. There are other ironies in your life too. Because your profession forces you to understand bodies, injuries, restraint, and the limits of physical endurance, people sometimes come to you secretly for help. Not openly, never with respect in daylight, but quietly after dark, through servants or side doors. A noble household with a fall. A laborer with a shoulder out of place. A broken limb that some learned physician hesitates to touch. The same town that publicly shrinks away from you may privately trust your practical knowledge more than polished theory. Yet even in these moments, gratitude stays hidden. Payment arrives, but honor does not. By noon, the square is filling. Public punishment in the medieval world draws people from every corner of town. Apprentices climb for a better view. Vendors drift toward the edges. Officials maintain a show of distance while making sure the scene unfolds exactly as planned. Children hear warnings and watch anyway. For some, it is justice. For some, entertainment. For some, a lesson. For others, only a grim interruption in the day. For you, it is work beneath 1,000 eyes. The condemned is brought forward. Fear changes the air. Even the crowd feels it. Whatever this person has done, stolen, killed, rebelled, betrayed, or simply lost against the machinery of accusation, the spectacle now belongs to the authorities. The sentence must be seen. The message must travel beyond the square. Order must feel visible and immediate. You guide the process with practiced restraint. No flourish, no performance for its own sake. Your survival depends on the opposite. The town may hate you, but it still expects competence. If you appear theatrical, you look monstrous. If you appear careless, you look dangerous. If the procedure drags or breaks down, the crowd can turn restless fast. Public emotion is unstable. Reverence can become contempt in a breath. Your protection lies in precision, control, and calm. So you focus on the essentials: position, timing, distance, grip, breath, posture, signals from the guards, space on the platform, the tone of the crowd, the condition of the wood under your feet, the angle of the day's light, the sound of shifting bodies below. The priest steps back. The officials watch. The city seems to hold itself still for one suspended instant. Then the sentence is carried out. No one in the square will remember the exact technical details the way you will. They will remember the silence before, the release after, the collective exhale, the proof that authority has acted. But you will remember the weight of responsibility, the discipline it took not to falter, and the terrible knowledge that one mistake would not merely shame you, it could destroy you. In a world of public judgment, failure in your role invites fury from every direction. When the formal moment ends, the crowd changes again. Sound returns. People move. Conversations resume. Some leave satisfied, some unsettled, some eager to retell what they saw. Officials withdraw back into stone rooms and written records. Priests return to matters of the soul. Guards escort what remains of duty away from public sight. And you remain where you always remain, closest to the labor after the symbolism is finished. Because the city's dependence on you does not end with the ceremony. There is clearing, transporting, storing, documenting, dismantling, cleaning, resetting. Order does not maintain itself. Someone has to carry the final practical burden once the crowd has gone back to buying bread and arguing over prices. Once again, that someone is you. By late afternoon, you push through the quieter streets on your way home. The same people who packed together for the spectacle now reopen the distance between themselves and your shadow. The city has used your hands, then returned to pretending it is above them. This is the rhythm of your life. Summoned when necessary, rejected when visible, paid, but never embraced. Known by all, welcomed by none. At home, the silence is different from the silence of the square. There is no audience here, no clerk, no magistrate, no bells, just the small sounds of a marginal household at the edge of society. A draft at the wall, a low fire, boots set aside, rough bread, tired muscles, tools that must be maintained because tomorrow there will be another filthy task, another summons, another reminder that your household exists to carry what others deny. And that is the real life of a medieval executioner. Not romance, not mystery, not a hooded icon from fantasy. Your world is labor, exclusion, contradiction, and endurance. You are the instrument the city claims not to be. The hand behind punishments declared by men who will never stand where you stand. The custodian of the task civilization hides behind legal language and religious certainty. Everyone needs you to exist. No one wants to stand next to you once you do. So look around your room and imagine waking into that life tomorrow. Imagine being necessary to everyone and welcome nowhere. Imagine wearing your profession like a warning sign across your chest. Imagine a city that depends on your work, condemns your touch, borrows your skills in secret, and leaves you alone with the burden afterward. In the medieval world, that was not legend. For someone, it was just another morning. The stigma reaches into every corner of family life. Marriage options shrink. Your children inherit suspicion before they understand why. Guild doors close. Invitations never come. In a society obsessed with rank, honor, and reputation, your household sits in a fixed place, officially useful, socially rejected. That contradiction follows your name, your address, and your bloodline. Even religion offers only uneasy cover. Priests may preach justice, yet ordinary believers still treat your role as spiritually dangerous. They fear what your hands represent. They fear public punishment made visible. They fear being reminded that law is not just parchment and sermons. It becomes wood, tools, labor, and consequence. Respectable people prefer justice in words. You force them to remember it also has weight. That gives you a kind of knowledge other people avoid. You know how much preparation hides behind one official moment. You know how fragile order feels from ground level. You know how quickly a crowd can shift. You know that power looks noble from a chamber window, but exhausting from the scaffold steps. Once you have seen the machinery from inside, you can never fully believe the polished story the city tells about itself. Night falls early. Better homes glow deeper inside town, while your house at the margin takes the wind first. Somewhere, a magistrate cleans his hands and sleeps believing justice was served. Somewhere, merchants eat, laugh, and close their doors. Here, on the edge, you sit with the physical cost still in your shoulders. And that may be the truest part of your life. Not one terrible public moment, but an entire existence built around carrying the necessities everyone else wants kept out of sight.